All right, in this problem, I'm going to go over the assignment from May 6th. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at it. This one was a little trickier, I assume. So I'm going to go over these questions with you. Hopefully you're watching this video because honestly, you know, I'm throwing everything out at you. All you got to do is pay attention and listen up. Here we go. Question number 1. What is the measure of an angle between 0 and 360 that is coterminal with 482? Listen, if you're above 360, then you're going to subtract 360 until you get a number between 0 and 360. So I'm going to do 482 minus 360 in the calculator. $122. That is between 0 and 360. That's what coterminal means. You just need it to be around a circle. So like add 360 or subtract 360 and they're coterminal. So 122. Done. Number 2. So this one's negative. So if you got negative 60 degrees, it's below 0, so you want to add 360. So negative 60 plus 360. Well, that's 300. That is between 0 and 360. Question 3. 732 is too big, so we're going to subtract 360. That's too big again, so I'm going to do another minus 360. And 12 is between 0 and 360, so that would be your answer. All right, so that's the coterminal stuff. Now let's go over the rotation stuff. You start at 0, 1 on the unit circle. Now I have the privilege of knowing how to work with a unit circle. I've worked with it for years. You may be just learning this. You're going to need it for your next math class. So it's to your advantage to go through and practice filling it out on your own. But for question 4, it says you start at the 0, 1 on the unit circle. From that point, if you rotate 60-degree clockwise, what are your new coordinates? So let me tell you where 0, 1 is on the unit circle. Well, 0, 1 is up here because it does not go left to right, it goes up 1. Well, that's 90 degrees. So we're going to start at 90 degrees. Now the question says you rotate clockwise 60 degrees. So clockwise is going this way. And if I go clockwise 60 degrees, I'm going to be right here. And clockwise is subtraction. So you want to do 90 minus 60. And that's 30 degrees. And the question asks you what's the new coordinate? Well, at 30 degrees, these are some things you just got to know. 30 degrees is the x value is the square root of 3 over 2. And the y value is 1/2. Now, you know, this comes from special right triangles and trigonometry, to be honest with you. SOHCAHTOA and stuff like that. But you can memorize that coordinate for 30 degrees. 60 degrees will just be it reversed. So I'll tell you right now, 60 degrees is 1/2 comma square root of 3 over 2. And 45 degrees is the one that has the square root of 2 over 2 both times. If you can remember those three, you can pretty much use symmetry to get all the other quadrants. So that would be your answer, square root of 3 over 2 comma 1/2. They're both positive since it's in quadrant 1. All right, that's question 4. Let's look at question 5. You start at 0, -1, 0, -1. All right, so 0, -1, that's going to be down there at the bottom here. And that's going to be, well, that's 0, 90, 18, so 180, 270 degrees. So I want to start at 270. It says clockwise 11 pi over 6. That's radians. That doesn't help me. But what you got to know is if you're doing clockwise, you're going to add, because the numbers go up as you go. Hold on, it says clockwise. You're going to subtract because my brain's not thinking. So the numbers go down as you go clockwise, the numbers go down. So where you're going to end up, well, first of all, it's clockwise 11 pi over 6. You got to get a degree out of that if you want to subtract from 270. So first thing I would do on this problem is I would convert this to a degree by doing this in the calculator. 11 pi over 6 times 180 over pi. 11 pi over 6 times 180 over pi. And that is 330 degrees. So I'm going to subtract 330 degrees from 270. And that's going to be a negative number. Always start with your beginning point. So even if it gives you a negative, you got to roll with that. So now you're at negative 60 degrees. So since that is not on the unit circle, we're going to have to add 360 to that. That's going to give you 300 degrees. So you're actually, if you think about it, you're going clockwise 330 degrees. That's almost a full circle. It's going to be right here at 300 degrees. So what is that coordinate at 300 degrees? So at 300, the x value is going to be positive and the y value is negative. 300 is actually closer here, so the 1/2 is going to come, 1/2 is smaller than the square root of 3 over 2. So that's going to be your first number, and then the negative square root of 3 over 2, because it's below the x-axis, will be your y value. Or you can refer to a unit circle on that, honestly, and get that. So it's 1/2 negative square root of 3 over 2. Okay, question 6. You start at the coordinate -1, 0 on the unit circle. -1, 0, where is that? -1, 0. Well, left 1 would be -1 and not up or down. So that's going to be right there. That's 180 degrees. So I want to go 180 degrees. I want to start at 180. And it's rotating counterclockwise 5 pi over 4. Counterclockwise 5 pi over 4. Where do you end up? Counterclockwise, that's where you're going to add, because counterclockwise, the numbers go up. Okay, so we're going to add whatever 5 pi over 4 is as a degree. 5 pi over 4 times 180 over pi will get you your degree. 5 pi over 4 times 180 over pi. 5 pi over 4 times 180 over pi. 225 degrees. So we got 180. We're going counterclockwise, 225. Where's that going to end up? So 180 plus 225. Let's see, 5, 8, 2 is 10, carry the 1. 405 degrees. That doesn't help me. I don't know where that is. But what I can do, aha, that's too big. Coterminal, subtract 360. And 5 minus 0 is 5. 40 minus 36 is 4. That's 45 degrees. So that's going to be right there in the middle. Right in quadrant 1, everything is positive. So that's going to be the square root of 2 over 2, comma the square root of 2 over 2. When it's the ones that end in 5 degrees, it's always square root of 2 over 2, some combination of those two with negatives if it's in different quadrants. So that should be your answer for 6. We are on a roll. Let's look at number 7. If you're watching this and you're realizing I'm giving all the answers, I am. I'm going through all of these problems right here. So if you did not watch this, then you're missing out. If you're watching this, don't tell your friends I'm actually going over every answer. Let them discover on their own. All right, question number 7. You start at the coordinate -1/2, negative square root of 3 over 2. -1/2, negative square root of 3 over 2. You rotate counterclockwise. counterclockwise, 300 degrees. Where do we end up? What's the degree measure? All right, so where is that? See, negative, negative. Negative 1/2, negative square root of 3/2. That's down here. This is 270, so that's 30 less. 240. If you don't believe me, look it up on the unit circle. Okay, that's 240 degrees. Now we're counterclockwise 300. Counterclockwise means to add. So 240 plus 300 is 540. Too big. Subtract 360. 180 degrees. So if you go clockwise 300, or counterclockwise 300 degrees, you're going to end up right there at 180 degrees. So your answer for this is 180. 3 more problems. These are the quick ones. Okay, determine which quadrant or axis the terminal side of a 140-degree angle lies in. Now these are not, 140 degrees isn't one of the standard angles on the unit circle, but that doesn't mean it's not on the circle. It's just not provided for you, okay? So we look at 140 degrees. Basically, your quadrants are split up like that. 140 degrees is going to be somewhere in there. That's quadrant 2. What if it's pi over 2? Where's pi over 2? You can look on the unit circle, or you could do this. Pi over 2 times 180 over pi. Cancel the pi's. 180 divided by 2 is 90, or you can put it in the calculator. 90 degrees. That's right there. This is quadrant 1, that's between 0 and 90. Quadrant 3 is between 180 and 270. Quadrant 4 is between 270 and 360. But what if it's on the actual axis? Well, we have a solution for that. What axis is that? That is not the x-axis, but it's the y-axis. And that leads us to the last question. Determine which quadrant or axis the terminal side of a 565-degree angle lies in standard position. 565 is not between 0 and 360. So guess what? We are going to subtract 360 again, and you got 205. 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. 205 is in here. Which quadrant is that? Well, that's quadrant 3, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So quadrant 3 will be your answer. Guys, I got 100. Oh my gosh. And so can you. Have a great day.